Hey all, Bryan VantHof here with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, Ramsey Trusted, and the Minnesota Real Estate Team. As always, thank you for checking out this weekly market update email. Hope you had a great week, and we are nearly officially halfway through August, and the state fair starts next week. So we are certainly cruising towards the last 2 weeks of summer. That's really, it's kind of surprising to say. It always seems to fly by way too fast here in Minnesota. So I hope you have some nice plans for this weekend and into the remainder of August. Wanted to get back to you here today with some market stats. Today we are going to talk exclusively about the previously owned homes, townhomes, and condos within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota, and that's going to include July closed information as well, not just what happened over the past week. So we're going to be able to compare what's been going on, what happened this past July compared to July of 2024. And we'll also have some additional information from comparing it against May and June here as well. But let's start with the past 7 days, with the week that was in the local real estate market. Starting this past week, we saw 1,122 new listings hit the market. That's down 66 from the prior week and 27 more than where we were last year. 204 of those homes did sell already. Of our new listings, 823 are single family. That's down 29 from the previous week. 204 were townhomes, down 26, and 95 are condos. That's down 11. Sitting at 303 coming soon listings, which is 2 more than last week and 3 less than last year. Total available inventory numbers are at 5,977. That is up 40 from last week and 540 more than the same time last year, continuing to narrow that spread as I've talked about in weeks past. Since the end of June this year, our inventory is up about 9% from the end of June until now. Last year, during that same time period from the end of June until the middle of August, we were actually up over 15% during that same time period. So we aren't, again, we're seeing this significant narrowing in inventory comparatively year over year. So that's kind of interesting to me. We are not accumulating the inventory at a crazy pace, indicating a very steady market. And overall, that's good for sellers. Not as good for buyers, but certainly good for sellers. I've discussed multiple times that late summer, early fall can be the best time of year to be a buyer. With things going on, rates kind of trending down just a little bit, it probably is going to be a little bit of an extended seller season here for sellers being able to get more top dollar for their home than maybe they would usually have in years past at this time of year. Of our available total inventory, 3,792 are single family homes. That's up 34, median price of $499,000. That's down $1,000 from last week. 1,144 are townhomes. That's up 12, median price of $300,000. That's unchanged. 1,041 are condos. That's down 6, median price of $210,000. That's also unchanged. 755 homes went from active to pending. That's down 45 from the prior week. And 616 homes went from pending to sold, which is down 310 from the previous week. But that covered the last week of July as well, which is, again, the last part of the month is the busiest time of the month for closings. So mortgage rates continue with a downward trend, dropping by just under 0.1% over the past week, which was good enough to push a good mortgage broker on a fixed 30-year conventional mortgage right around that 6.5% mark. FHA and VA rates can be closer to the 6% mark, and in some cases they might even be under that. From 1, 3, 6, and 9 months ago, we are down about 0.25%. But we are up about 0.3% from where we were 1 year ago. Showing activity increased over the past week by about 3.5%. So that's a pretty significant jump in realtor scheduled requests to 15,280 realtor scheduled showings. That lends support to what I noted earlier about the steady real estate market with good buyer traffic. Last year at this time, showing traffic for the week was 10% lower than where we are today and significantly lower showings per listing. We are going to have a very competitive late summer, fall real estate market where sellers are going to see that extended benefit, as I mentioned before. Last year, we were going into election season. Some people thought no matter what side of the aisle on, you thought the world was going to explode, and it turns out it didn't. So real estate, no matter what happens in the election, keeps plugging along. Maybe it mattered, maybe it didn't, but overall we're still doing okay in the real estate market. So let's spend a little bit more time now talking about what happened in July in the real estate market. In July, we had a total of 4,042 closed sales. That's over $1.8 billion in closed sales. Of the total, 2,994, which is 74% of all closed sales, were single family homes. Median close price of $419,300 versus a median listing price of $415,000. So sellers on average received about 1% over their listing price in July. There were 759 townhomes, 19% of the market, with closed sale price at $298,000 versus a listing price of $300,000. So sellers received slightly under their list price in July. 289 sales were condos, that's 7% of the market, at a median close price at $218,000 versus a listing price at $220,000. Total sales for July were very similar to where we ended up with May of this year, when May sales were 4,055 homes closed with $1.825 billion in total sales. So not too far off. June was our busiest month so far this year, and likely will be the busiest month of the year, with 4,436 closed sales and nearly $2.1 billion in total real estate sales, closed sales on residential real estate in the month of June. So closed sales are generally reflective of purchase agreements that were written in the month before the closings actually occurred. So the numbers for May were purchase agreements from April. The numbers for June were purchase agreements for May. Closed sales for July were purchase agreements generally made in June. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of what the trailing numbers look like. Where you generally see, we saw more expensive homes closed in the month of June than we did in July on average. April and May are the busiest times of the year for homes priced $500,000 and over. If you are over that price point, it can sell at any time of year. But if you are over $500,000, generally the best time of the year to be a seller in that price range is going to be April, May, and June, and with May kind of being that peak time if you're trying to sell those types of homes. That's when you generally get the most activity and the most money for your home, just at that price point and higher. That can be the same thing on the lower price homes too. It's just that there is more showing activity during the rest of the year on things under $500,000 as well, as compared to the 500 plus. So if you're under 500,000, in many cases, it doesn't matter quite as much when you put your house on the market, as long as it's not Thanksgiving through probably about mid-January, which is not a very good time to be putting your house on the market. If you are at 500,000 and up and you're thinking about selling next year, it's certainly time to really meet with me, put together a game plan. Don't put yourself scrambling here in next year to get your home ready. I can come out, meet with you, talk to you about preparing your house in a way that makes sense for you, and you can spend the next 9 months preparing your house to put on the market and getting top dollar when the time is right for you. Again, so you're not scrambling there at the end. Looking back at July of last year, we saw slightly fewer closed sales, not too many. Last July, we had 4,010 closed sales, volume of $1.78 billion. Of those closed sales, 2,980 were single-family homes at a median close price of $405. So if you look at that difference and versus a listing price of $400, so sellers were getting above list at this time last year as well. If you look at the difference between this July and last year, you see single-family homes in particular, the closed prices were up about 3.5% compared to last year. Looking at townhomes, 18% of all closed sales last July were townhomes at a median close price at $295,000 at a list price of $295,000, so they sold for about what they were listed at. From last year, townhomes, they've increased about 1%, comparatively speaking. Condos made up 8% of July sales, median close price at $215,000 versus a listing price at $216,000 last July. So last July we saw sellers taking a little bit under their list price, but condo prices, surprisingly, July to July saw a increase of 1.4%. So I guess that's good for condos. I am starting to feel a little bit better strength in those condos. So that's what we're seeing there. So real estate market continues to be strong. That's about all I have for the week. If you are thinking of buying or selling, if you're thinking about buying a vacation property, If you're looking to buy that second home, or if you're looking to move out of Minnesota, move to Florida, I'm the guy for you. I'd love to help you with that. And if you're wherever you're looking at in Florida, I can get you the right direction, as I am licensed on the southwest side of the state. But if you're looking at other places like the Villages or the Panhandle, I have resources to get you connected there as well, or Orlando, or wherever. So it's going to be cold soon. If you want to make those plans for winter, we should do it. We should talk about that soon. It is a buyer's market. It is an absolute 100% buyer's market in Florida. Maybe outside of the Villages, that's still fairly busy. But if you're thinking of buying in Florida, you're in a position of power. So that's what I have for the week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.